Are you looking for a place for dinner tonight? Maybe you're looking for some amazing Italian food, or maybe you need a fun place to go on a date. Either way, check out Santeramos. They are amazing. Let's see what they have going on. It's all about local.
So I'm Jordan Santeramo.
I'm Chelsea Santeramo.
The way Santeramos came to be was my grandparents owned one. It's actually the Roma's now on 16th. That was her restaurant for a long time. My dad kind of grew up there, from being a baby in the back to working there in high school. And he eventually opened his own restaurant in
Breckenridge.
yeah. And then kind of got to be too much for my parents and came back to Greeley. And it was always kind of my dream to have a restaurant. And so I graduated high school, started going to UNC, and he kind of always thought this building was the perfect place for a restaurant, and it actually came up for rent. So I got a phone call one day, and he's like, the place we always talked about, it's for rent, let's go check it out. And yeah, we reopened in September of 2008. It was kind of just me and him in the back, and we had a bunch of family help us, and it kind of just grew from there. And then Chelsea came on board.
Yeah. I started helping just in the kitchen. I would come hang out with him in the back. And then eventually they were like, do you want to help and serve tables? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then my role kind of became taking over the wait staff, and then we got married, and I feel like I took on a bigger role, and yeah. And then unfortunately his dad passed away in 2022. And so we both kind of have just taken over, and he stepped into the main owner role, and I took over the front, so I'm in charge of all the wait staff. I handle all the social media. I just recently took over all the bookkeeping, so I kind of handle everything on the front end, and then he takes over the back, and he does all the cooking and all that fun stuff. So
We're trying to keep it all in-house, do as much of it as we can ourselves.
people love our pizza. Our pizza's super unique, I would say. We cut it in the squares, which a lot of people, there are people who do not like that, but that's kind of our signature, I would say. Everything is made pretty much in-house. I mean, our meatballs are made every single day. How many meatballs do you think you make on a weekend?
On a weekend, we go through close to 500 meatballs. We make them fresh every day. Our bread is made fresh. We don't make our bread in-house, but it is made fresh for us every day. And then we, do our spin to it. And then our lasagna is really popular. It's a huge portion. It's a family recipe. We use our homemade meatballs in it. And I mean, I would say it's the size of a brick. You get 2 meals out of it. That's our main thing here, though, is big portions. We try and make it a good deal, and we want you to be able to eat here more than just once a month. We want it to be affordable, but our whole thing is, everybody asks me what kind of Italian food do you have. It's home style. It's what you get at grandma's house. It's the giant portion, the big meatball. You leave full. Like, that's what we want to see. So that's kind of our shtick. But yeah.
Yeah, we really try and focus on the family aspect of it. We feel like we're a super popular date night spot. We're not a huge bar, obviously, but we are trying to cater more to the college kids, and that's a big thing too. We want people to know that we have the big margaritas on the weekends, and we have the giant portions of food, and you can come, spend $20 and you're fed for 3 days. So that's kind of what we really try and focus on. And we really, I would say we have so many regulars, people that have been coming here for years, and that's really cool. And that's something that I think we treasure so much, is that so many people that come through that door, we know their faces, we know their family, we know their story, and that's a big deal for us. So.
Even our staff, they eat here more than they eat at home. They're like, I can eat here cheaper. So, I love cooking for them, and they're like family to us, so it's always good to make sure they're fed. But they crack us up all the time about how much they order, and it's always, after you're cleaned up, done, but they're like, we need food. So it works out.
Yeah. I mean, the building is so old. When was it built?
1882.
Yeah.
It was built. I don't know. There's been so many different theories, and
Stories.
yeah, we have pamphlets on it. I even have the brochure when it was a bank. It's funny, but I've heard it was the governor's house. I don't know if it's true or not, but it was built for him. It had a big wraparound porch.
Yeah.
It's pretend like it's haunted. I don't know. It just makes a lot of noise.
It does. It creaks, and the basement is super creepy. But yeah, we've heard it was the governor's house. At one point, I know it was apartments, and we've had people that have come in here that lived here, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
It was like a single family house, I believe, at one point. It was a tea house before we moved in. It's been the bank. We actually have a customer who I don't know if it's true, but he swears that he did live here. And he was telling us like the stairs weren't right there. Again, I don't know if I believe that. That's kind of cool that if he did live here, that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's weird to be here alone at night sometimes. You do hear weird things, and our staff has claimed that they've seen like a little boy running around or lights randomly will flicker, but it adds to the charm.
I think it's kind of cool that anything on our menu can be customized. Like, it's kind of funny. Our menu is, I wouldn't say small, but it's not a huge menu. But talk to your waitress, ask them what their favorite things are. I think that's my favorite thing because we all mess around in the back. We try so many different things, and half of our stuff on our menu was from me or my dad's friends, or coming in saying, "Hey, make me something weird, make me something different." Like that's where our baked dishes came from, and our staff, they always add pizza toppings to them or customize them and try this out. So
Another cool thing is our upstairs space. I think a lot of people don't exactly know that space can be utilized for big parties, and we've hosted weddings, we do so many rehearsal dinners. Graduation is huge here for giant parties. So that's something really cool that I don't think a lot of restaurants have, that aspect of hosting big groups like we can. And then our yard area too, that we've had weddings out there before. This summer I want to try to host more things. I feel like that's a huge something that we could focus on, is we've had bands that have played out there.
Yeah.
We've had people bring like old cars and park out there. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's just a cool building. It's a cool vibe. It's a cool area that we're in.
we sponsor the Stampede.
Yep.
We're doing a big dinner out there for the Spur Club, and I don't know. I mean, it's always, we have the parade that comes right down here. Stampede's always a big deal for us. I don't know. I always do the demolition derby, so we'll be in that too. But that's not really anything to do with the restaurant. Come on a cool night, sit on the patio, order Italian nachos. Those are my favorite. It's a big portion. Get either a Godfather margarita or a giant beer, and split a pizza. And it's just, I don't know, it's really cool out there. I mean, there's always something going on downtown here. You can hear the bands on Friday Night Fest. It's just, I don't know. We're all about, when we go out to dinner, it's always, what's the vibe of the restaurant? It's not even so much about, where it's at, but that's why we try to bring that here and make it just, you want to be here.
Yeah. I think too, like Thirsty Thursdays, we just introduced that. So with your UNC ID or Ames ID, you can come get a 32-ounce margarita for $7. It's a big deal. Pretty cool. We do all-you-can-eat spaghetti on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
That's a big deal too. Big portion.
Yeah.
We have a bucket of spaghetti that we do to
That's-
go. That's a big one.
Honestly, yeah, people don't, I think, capitalize on that as much as they should.
Yeah.
It's an actual bucket, but it feeds four. It's got 4 meatballs, 4 portions of bread, and it's what, $35.
$35.
Yeah.
So.
We have our college kids that work for us. They're always like, "Can I just take a whole bucket home?" They eat the whole week on it. Like, sure, whatever you want to do. But yeah, I think that's a big one that people don't capitalize on, because we don't really advertise it in house. It's mostly just on social media.
We're so appreciative of the community and the people that come here, and I think a huge deal for us is that we made it through COVID. I see all these giant chain restaurants right now that are closing. You know, Red Lobster, Chili's, I think Applebee's. So it's a big deal that we are such a small family-owned restaurant, and we're still here, and we're still thriving, and we're still able to do what we love to do. So I think that's huge. It's just thank you for continuing to support us and